when you're there's this fine line between feeding and just getting to 50 HP when you're playing Reinhardt. And if you hit that 50 HP mark, that's actually what you should be doing as Reinhardt, because then your team is able to heal you up and get their ult charges from them. You want to be able to stack the support's ult very quickly off of your entire team when you're playing the 3-3 composition. And so there's this really big difference between dying at 0 and 50, because if you're at 50 and you win the fight, your support's gained 450 HP worth of ult charge, which is amazing, right? This is a bonus. So there's this really fine line between like really good Rhine play and like I'm feeding my brains off Rhine play, and it's skirting that fine line that's been the trickiest part of these 3-3 matchups. Is like, okay, what can I get away with? You know, what is the most damage I can do to get to 50 HP? You know, it's like playing Tetris with your entire team, and it's like this multi-dimensional Tetris here. It's really complicated when you think about it.
Absolutely, there's far more complications to it than a simple 2-minute rant can obviously give. When we're talking about high-level playing of the GOATS comp, there's a lot more little intricacies to it. I would argue that the 50 HP might be a little bit too low, but there is valid points, and you do need to get chunked. Regardless, we do see the strength of Team Horizon coming in their form of camaraderie and being able to work together. And even when they lose someone, they are able to usually push back for a long enough time to pull out just these slight advantages that they need. But going into this for KT, they are going to need to definitely change up some of their play style here. What are some of the things that you saw from KT's side here?
It seemed like they weren't getting a ton of value from their ults, and I feel like KT can do a lot of work just by keeping Mushmak in the back line of Team Horizon, and by being a little more aggressive with the Lucio. There's a big difference between a satellite Lucio that just stays on your team and speed boosts them, and keeps your team like healed up and sped. There's a big difference between that and like a playmaker Lucio that's always on the high ground of any point, just like riding the walls above you, distracting the enemy team and keeping the D.Va occupied and alert, and being able to boop the Rhine into your team. There's a huge difference, and that is the difference between what KT are doing and what Team Horizon are doing.
Absolutely. Now, going into this, we have seen that the map of Route 66 was banned, and we are going to be going to Dorado for this one. So going into Dorado, that can be, for second point, a very high ground focused map, which GOATS might not be as favorable for. Do you see both of these teams sticking with GOATS all the way along, or do you think we're going to be seeing some switch ups maybe around that second point, perhaps?
I think we definitely might be seeing some switch ups. Like you were saying, that second point of Dorado does mean a lot. We're going to be going to Escort, which means you need to be able to really judge your ults with this Escort map. But yeah, we might be seeing some dive comp come out from the second point, especially on attack. You want to be able to get up on the high ground. If you have a capable Widow or Hanzo player, or both, you want to be able to move them up to the high ground and try and rain as much damage as they can from above, because that does mean a lot, especially when it comes to that second point. Very insightful.
The next things that we do have to keep in mind, though, with this map going through with that, is that we did, from the side of Team Horizon, we saved Lucio, and from the side of KT, we banned D.Va, which means that we won't be able to run a Winston D.Va type style comp, and even running dive goats where you have the Winston D.Va and the Hammond is going to be a little bit more problematic. They do have the Lucio here, but we could see some problems there.
Yep, we're going to be seeing the D.Va being banned, which means snipers are going to be really effective coming out here. We also have Route 66 banned, interestingly enough. So this will be the only Escort map of... Very sad.
Seems like KT has found a little trick here. If you look to the top right of their spawn doors, they've managed to put some Symmetra turrets on an invisible wall. And I don't think I've
Hey.
ever seen that before in all of my time on Overwatch.
Yeah, this is super interesting. Wow,
Going out.
Ever's gonna pick off
Oh,
Dave.
Dave getting picked off right away, but the res does come out. They are going to keep going. Double sniper comp, like you said, coming out from Team Horizon. Meanwhile, KT are running the Pharah instead. That might prove a little bit problematic as Team Horizon is holding the high ground.
Yeah, Bakugo needs to start getting some picks off, because as they start getting into these narrow streets, this festival area, they're gonna have a hard time coming into this.
They do drop a little bit late here. Kidney down directly on top of them, but they do get a bit of damage, but Legola does go down because of it. Kidney's shield about to break, and they are getting shot by the Pharah constantly. Freya does go down, Kidney does go down, and at this point, they are gonna probably wither and die here. Bakugo at half health, trying to do what he can, gets a shot onto Appleman, but he's half, and he ends up getting taken out anyway. Ever trying to do what he can with the Hanzo, but at this point, it's just a free push for KT until more people from Team Horizon can come back.
Yeah. A Reinhardt and an Ana and a Dream here, and wow, they're gonna take it with 2 people on the payload. Nice plays coming from KT and taking out these main tanks here. And as you were saying, you know, we may be seeing some dive tanks. We won't be seeing any coming out from Team Horizon here. A little bit unfortunate that they're not playing this Daughter really with a really high ground, but gets taken out by Bakugo. Here we go.
Dave did try to go for the back and got picked off, ended up getting rezzed up, but Mushmak immediately getting picked in return. Lucker getting shot in the back and not able to do anything. Dave in the backside trying to do what he can with the rockets. He does pick off 2, but he ends up getting taken out on the way out, and this is going to be reset from KT regardless, but they did get a lot of picks, which means that they are going to be able to come back in this lot quicker. You see Lucker already charging up. They have 4 people on the point, and I don't think you can have the Hanzo, Lucio, and the Zarya properly contest this, and you can see Team Horizon giving them the space. The walls do come out from Bakugo to make sure that they know what is going on from the side of KT, but at this point, it's a little too late. Everyone knows where everyone else is, other than maybe the Ana who's just coming back now.
Yeah, this is some really good progress coming from KT. Even though Appleman dies here in this engagement, you know, these 1-for-1 trades are fine for the attacking team. Here's the Graviton, just getting Lucker.
The barrage does come out from Dave. The beat was out, so it doesn't catch anyone except for Freya. Nano comes out on a Kitty to make sure that they can do what they can, but the bubbles are going to stop him from being able to swing. Ray getting taken out as everyone pushes up, and meanwhile Dave is in the back line just firing rockets at you. There's nothing that you can do when, as a Reinhardt, when you're nanoed, if everyone is bubbled and your backline is getting destroyed by rockets.
Yeah, see, this is the whole problem with the sniper comp, is that their snipers aren't able to contest the payload. And Bakugo's going to try and contest, and it's going to take down Dave. This is pretty good for Team Horizon here on this defense.
We still do have 2 healers and 2 tanks, which means that they're not going to lose a whole lot of space, but KT is going to have to back up. Appleman almost going down there, but he barely survives. They do pick off Freya in exchange on Horizon. That is a very bad pick to be getting in this scenario when they're so close, but Lucker has a low shield. They're not going to be able to capitalize on it as easily. Bakugo also on the high ground, trying to shoot the back. Lucker gets nanoed. They're going to try and push in here, but both of these teams have Shatter. The sleep goes out on Lucker, and the Shatter comes out from Kitty to make sure everyone goes down. There's no shield to block it. Shield gets the Shatter from Lucker gets blocked by Kitty. That means there's no use of the Shatter so far from the side of KT that's been meaningful. Ana inside of the bank is going to have to run away, and this is going to be a repeat. Appleman almost going down. Luckily, he has the nade for himself. Freya getting charged into the bank. This means that Lucker is really far out, and Freya does not go down. That is huge from the side of Team Horizon. That's a lot of ult charge, but they do end up losing Legola even on the last bit here, which means that they're going to have to wait even longer to regroup, which means that KT has a big opportunity here.
Yeah, both these snipers coming out from either team, the Hanzo and the Widow, are doing a lot of work against each other. It's very even. I would say that Team Horizon even have the edge here. Dragon Strike coming out doesn't get any value. But the whole thing is that these tanks really aren't making much space for each other. So, you know, these snipes are having, but nothing's really going on.
We do see Shrug in the back line as the Sombra trying to get what he can onto Ever. Ever falling very low. He ends up getting picked, and Shrug does barely manage to translocate out. The rest of Team Horizon had to back up, and that gave a lot of space for KT to advance. They are going to try and go in here. Lucker in, but he gets antied immediately. He skipped the neutral ground immediately into the enemy team. Is not how you want to jump as the Winston. Dragon coming down to cut off the rest of Team Horizon. The trans comes off in response to make sure no one falls down. Lucker getting rezzed in the middle of that. Shrug in the back. He does get chunked to half and has to translocate out again. Lucker antied. and he does get chunked down to half, but he isn't killed just yet. There he goes, Slep, and he is going to go down. That means, again, they don't have it. Grab comes out, but there's no one who can actually get up there. They're trying to do what they can. They end up getting 2 picks, and they do nano the Mercy to go after Kidney in order to take this point. Mushmak getting taken out by Ever's arrows here, and they only have 2 on the point with Shrug and Appleman, and they might not even be able to properly do this. Ever approaching, he knows that he has at least some advantage. He goes for Appleman first. Shrug also getting chunked and having to translocate out. Lucker back on the Hammond, and he wants to try and contest this. He's antied immediately once again, and he's just going to have to walk away.
Yeah, there's no space being made by KT here. No shields in effect. Daughter's going to get the headshot onto Bakugo, though. So this could lead to a mapping 1 if Lucker can try and engage. He's going to engage on the Ana here. Nice hack. Nice EP.
The EMP comes out as they have a crossfire set up. The Dragon does come in response to try and clear the point, but there is nothing for them to do. Lucker went in right at the perfect time. The KT has finally figured out that you can set up a crossfire. They have both their snipers coming from different sides, meaning that no matter where you hide, you're going to be getting hit by someone, and the EMP coming out just makes it all the worse. Team Horizon now having to adjust.
It's funny that KT hadn't thought of that before, because Team Horizon, actually either team, they weren't making really much space for their snipers. So I mean, no one's really contesting the other. It's just like snipers can be wherever they want, really, uncontested, just trying to take each other out at like the weirdest locations here. Ever's gonna swap to the Tracer here, so this could be interesting, and Bakugo's gonna swap onto the Genji. This could be very good for Team KT here. They're able to take
Dragon comes out to split them off right now. Team Horizon having to pick to go forward or go back, and it looks like they are going forward. The Lucio cut off on the back. Raid ends up getting picked off by Dave jumping over the wall, and the rest of Team Horizon is kind of at a standstill. Kidney already at half and anti. He's trying to survive here. He gets bubbled for half a second, but he still doesn't have a healer. Neither does Bakugo, who's hacked and very low, and they only have Ever and now Lucio coming out of spawn. Now, this is very disastrous for Team Horizon. They don't have much to contest the point with, and the rest of KT is just pushing in uncontested. Ray trying to get on the point. Mines go out, and it looks like that might be the end of him. He's already half. He gets killed before he even touches a mine, and that's going to be it. KT taking this round to 3.
Yep. Minute and a half for Team KT. That was really good third point, and just interesting that interesting to see these compositions work out in the way that they have. You were talking about dive tanks, and I think that Team Horizon should have swapped to the dive tanks a lot earlier, especially coming in to defend that second point. When they realized that all was lost and that first point was KT's, they should have swapped to the Winston and Diva, like you were talking about at the beginning of the match here. The Reinhardt and the Zarya just didn't get any value at all. We saw one Graviton come off to try and defend, and it got a couple of kills, but the whole thing about Reinhardt and Zarya versus double snipers is that while you may be able to shield your healers from the front, you can't do anything to contest the snipers at all. So if an attacking sniper is going to want to flank, they can do so, and you can't do anything about it, especially when there's another sniper from your front line that's just poking at your shield anyways. So interesting to see that Team Horizon were kind of stubborn in not hopping onto the dive tanks earlier. It certainly did cost them, and there's going to be 3 points to pay for it. They're going to have to go for the attack here with knowing that KT has 3 points.
The only thing that I would like to correct really quick was you were saying the Diva. However, Diva is banned. Just a reminder to everyone who's watching, there was a protect and ban phase. Lucio was protected, but Diva was banned. So it would have to be Winston and Hammond, and you might not actually have people who are comfortable. We see Freya coming out on the Zarya, Kidney on the Winston. That's an okay combo in and of itself, but it's not optimal.
Yeah. No, you're right in that Diva was banned. So you're setting up yourself for like a not ideal combination of tanks when you're trying to dive in, and as the Diva is banned, maybe they're just more comfortable on the Rhine. However, you need to swap off to like an anti-dive DPS in that case, because the Zarya and the Rhine just aren't getting as much value with these snipers that you're trying to counter out with.
As Team Horizon does approach the corner, Daughter was in the back trying to get what they can, but he ends up getting taken out by Raid. The Lucio takes out the Widow here on their backside, and that means that KT is down one going into this, and they are at the choke, but Dave manages to pick off Raid and Ever. This opens up massive room for KT to make sure that they hold this area. With the Rhine Zarya, they have massive room that they can take. Bakugo getting low, he doesn't have deflect, and he goes down to Shrog. Wouldn't matter if you had deflect or not at that point, and the rest of it, Horizon is going to have to reset.
Yeah. Wow, Dave certainly is great coming into this. 92% on his Dragon Strike here. He gets it with a crit onto Ever. I don't even feel like he'll need to use it. He already has a fight won here. And while Kidney is trying to dive on him from the beginning, he does go down. He goes down. There we go.
that's going to be very heavily lost for KT there, or a very hefty loss, sorry, if they aren't able to hold this here. Dave was doing lots of work, and with the Dragon Strike being gone, he can't play respawn. But the blade comes out. Sleep is massive. Bakugo gets slept and charged against the wall. Lucker going to take him down, saying, no blades in my neighborhood. Meanwhile, the Valkyrie Mercy going over, keeping everyone topped up. Kidney goes way too far, isn't able to be supported as Legola and Freya go down as well as ever, and it's just Raid trying to get out with his little skates, but he's not going to be able to get away in time.
Lucker with some BM Reinhardt emotes going into that. What a sexy play coming from Appleman. Please, someone clip that, because that was amazing. That sleep into the Reinhardt charge was like nutty. You're taking 2 ults out of the fight with the Nano and the Blade. Ever's going to stay on this Genji, and this honestly might cost them, because that Nano Blade took 2 minutes to farm, and he's going to be at a disadvantage this entire time. Dave the Great has some sick snipe skills with the Hanzo here. Nice shatter!
Huge shatter comes down, and the Dragon does go out to the choke. It's going to catch Raid there, and it did chunk Ever before he actually went down. Lucker is falling low, but he is going to hold the shield so that way his team can push out and take this ground. They are going to catch out Freya, and they caught out Bakugo just a moment ago, and they're going to push into Kidney now. Lucker going forward, but he does get slept midway through, but there's no one to even damage him right now. Meanwhile, they're cornering Kidney in a hallway and saying, you are ours, give us that ult charge, but it looks like he's going to be able to barely get away. Legola coming out, but Lucker going hard and getting down there, but he is cut off with the Nano on the Reinhardt, makes him go down. This is huge. KT does not have a main tank, they do not have a main force, as the rest of Team Horizon is prepping to go through. They are taking a long route around. That means that there's going to be lots of time for KT to get their tank back. He can charge, which means that he's going to be coming back. We already see that he's halfway back, as Team Horizon is only taking over the courtyard now. Ever already at half. The daughter's already up there taking lots of shots, half already, but they are going to go back for heals. Grab comes out onto the 2 tanks, and they are going to do what they can. Anti only getting onto Lucker, Ever also very low. Ooh. They end up taking out Kidney. This is going to be a great hold from KT so far. Grab comes out in response as well as the Valkyrie to make sure that no one goes down. Beat was dropped by Team Horizon, but it doesn't matter. When everyone is dead, the amount of beat that goes out is a lot less. And meanwhile, Mushmak doing a lot of damage onto Ever while he was sitting there waiting for his demise to come.
Yeah, Mushmak was playing with fire a bit there. It's going to be the last engagement of the fight. They do have the blade here, but they don't have the nano boost, so they're going to have to rely on like a shatter blade combo coming out from Team Horizon here and getting this point, or the series will be tied up 1-1. Nice snipes coming out from Daughter. Infrasight will come out. Here we go. Lucker running very low. Nice shatter!
Huge shatter comes out from Lucker, making sure that he can get what he can. I don't even know how that shatter went out. It was from like 3 different dimensions. He got 1 person behind the boost, 1 person on the other side, and then 1 person by the point. That was crazy out of Lucker's. Amazing shatter there, as well as just general ult economy and holding from KT. They were able to make sure that they capitalized on what they needed to, and when they were ever down someone, it was only the people who could get back quickly.
Mm-hmm. And KT are certainly thinking about this game and going easy clap coming into that defense. They played their composition very well. Lucker with the play of the game here on the salmon. Nice roll out, buddy. In taking that point. Really some great wrecking ball play, first that we've seen. So yeah, great plays coming from Dave and from Daughter on the attack here. And just an amazing sleep coming from that Ana from KT. That was super slick in it, basically taking 2 minutes off the clock for KT's defense here. Awesome plays.
The amount of time that it takes to charge that blade definitely made that a huge disadvantage for Horizon. No matter what, even if they had won that fight, that would have been a very unfortunate circumstance regardless to have the blade just wasted. But we do see that, like you said, KT very ecstatic as soon as they come out of that. They are already saying they don't want Hollywood. They're banning that one out, so we will not be going there. And they are saying that they want to be on attack this time, so we will be having the same thing. Horizon on defense, KT on attack, and they're going straight for the bans and picks right now.
Yep. So yep, KT are going to ban King's Row. They need to...
Is it Hollywood or King's Row? They've said both.
Interesting that we're seeing some miscommunication between the same team. They also need to save a hero as well.
trying to get some confirmation as to which map was banned here really quick, just to make sure that we're all on the same page.
It's perfectly acceptable. I think both of these teams are fairly new to the tournament, so
Oh, and the players corrected me here. I completely forgot. Kings Row isn't even in the map pool, so it is Hollywood that's banned. Just to make sure everyone's clear, Hollywood is the one that was banned, and KT choosing to be on attack. And now we're just waiting on Team Horizon to select what map that they want to play next, and then we'll be moving on to the protect and ban phase. Now, going into this, we saw a completely different KT than we saw on Lijiang. Instead of getting 2-0, they definitely held their ground. What can you see from Horizon here? Because we saw before that Kidney was getting destroyed pretty easily, like he was chunking down very hard a lot of the time, and then we also saw it this time that coming through this with Ever and I believe it was Bakugo, with their Tracer and Genji, they just weren't able to play with their tanks, and when they had them on the snipers, they weren't cross-firing really well, they weren't dealing with the Pharah. It was a huge problem until like the end of point 2 when they finally forced KD to swap, when they had 2 people to deal with the Pharah at once. At this point, what do you change about what you're doing in order to better handle KT?
Well, I feel like Team Horizon just need to be less prideful with their picks. If they feel like something isn't working and they are losing at the very first fight, you know, even with 30% ult charge on your entire team, it's perfectly acceptable to switch up, to go dive tanks, to go, you know, Genji Tracer. Maybe a Genji Tracer on attack was the right call, you know. Maybe the double sniper wasn't so potent, especially coming from KT's defense, because their defense was very solid coming down to it. So, you know, maybe, you know, go for something a little more different. Don't be stubborn when you're trying to pick something. When we saw that Genji get slept, that amazing play coming from KT, you know, maybe you swap off the Genji, you know, because maybe the Ana is going to do that again. So, like, be respectful for your opponent. Swap to something that you feel like could counter it. There's always a hero that can take over and overpower another. No hero is like completely broken in Overwatch. Not completely. It used to be Brig, but she got nerfed heavily, and so that we don't see her on every single map. So, you know, respect your opponent. Pick the counter pick. Don't just go, you know, oh hey, you know, I've died to this Widow 5 times, but you know, don't respect the Widow. Go Genji. Go Tracer. Go something that can actually counter it and actually respect your opponents, because it's going to cost Team Horizon the series if they continue to disrespect.
Which, speaking of Widow, like you just mentioned, we do have, we're a little bit behind on this, but KT did save the Widow, which means that they want to make sure that they are on, they have the Widow available. Meanwhile, Team Horizon, they banned out the Sombra, and there is a swap as well. Hana is swapping out for Kidney. That means that the Reinhardt Kidney is not on here right now. We have Hana in instead, and we are going in. Diva is still banned, so they had to restart the match here, but we are getting back into this right now. With Widow on this map for sure, we know that KT is planning to run it likely for Ruins. That is a very strong Widow map as a whole, but we're starting with Well. What do we see coming out of both of these teams when you have Sombra banned and Widow available?
I think that Well is one of the most underprepared maps and should be like the least prepared map other than Dorado coming out in this entire map pool. So we'll definitely be seeing some crazy plays. Dive tanks work very well. Orisa Hog work very well. And we see a lot of the 3-3 compositions coming out. And of all of those heroes, only the Lucio is basically played in this entire well kind of meta. So we'll be seeing some weird picks, and definitely we'll be seeing the Wrecking Ball and Diva compositions versus the like simple dive tanks. It's gonna be Dave on the Pharah firing in though, trying to get some ult charge already, versus the dive tanks, dive DPS coming out from Team Horizon here.
We do see Lucker jumping forward. Freya trying to get immediate capitalization on it, but he isn't able to, and he's going to have to back up here. He is pretty low, but he does manage to get out. No DMEC, but this means that the area around the point is in KT's favor. We have several people chunking out. Dave finally getting taken out. Freya doing his job as the diva. This opens up everyone else to get what they can. Daughter also going down. This is no DPS, no Lucio available, and they are just going to be resetting here at this point. KT trying to do what they can. Shrug running away to try and stall it. Bakugo getting nanoed there at the end of the fight. I'm not sure what that's about, but they do end up taking the point.
I think that was a little bit of BM coming from Team Horizon here, but nice plays coming from Freya, able to get a ton of those final blows and really sealing the deal on that that defense here. Dave is going to swap to the Zarya. They're going to be playing a bit of 3-3, but with the Winston instead of the Reinhardt that we typically see on most maps. However, Shrog running very low is going to be able to bomb. Gets Hana, nice.
He does catch one with that bomb. He had to drop it since he was getting so low. Freya getting trying to run back right now. Does get DMEC. There is no bomb in response. This means that Freya is just going to fall, and the rest of Team Horizon just falling one after the other. After KT finally came back with a proper comp, they had Daughter swap off the Widow and Appleman swap off to the Brig as well. And overall, it definitely worked out better for them. They had a lot more capability to run down their enemies, especially against a Tracer and a Genji. You want to have that Brig.
Yeah, that nano boost being messed up is going to cost them. Freya's bomb isn't going to get any value. He's been really good with his eliminations, but that bomb was really suboptimal here. I try and defend. Hana running, not really hitting anything. Their attack seems a bit staggered coming out.
Shrug almost fell in the pit there for half the moment as he is in Baby Diva form. They do have the Primal come out, but the sleep is on Lucker. That means that they are going to get nothing out of that Primal. Beat comes out to keep everyone topped up on the side of Team Horizon, but it doesn't matter as time is running out. But the huge anti-and knock-up into the mines. Hana going crazy. No one falling to it directly, but it definitely is going to cause some havoc for KT. Meanwhile, the rest of KT, they don't care. They back off, they wait for half a second, and they come back because of the initial picks and the lack of actual a tank killing ability at this point. Hitting into a Brig, a Winston, a Diva, a Zarya. Well, they have 3 healers, including, well, the Brig for herself, she's 1 healer as well. With a Genji and a Tracer is not going to work out, and we already see that Team Horizon's starting to swap that off. It's
the aura healing that's doing a lot of work for KT. The Brig and the Lucio heals just keeping KT alive in this 3-3 composition. Everett does swap onto the McCree here to try and take off some key supports here. He's going to want to try and take out Mush before he can try and drop the beat. Grab coming from Dave, but he gets picked out instantly. Here's the bomb.
It doesn't matter that it gets picked off instantly. That was a huge grab, and everyone is able just to be ran over. Even though the healing nade came out, the bomb didn't catch anyone, but the rest of KT was immediately pressing their W keys. They just went after them and did not stop. We only see one person alive, and that's Bakugo as we're hitting 95%. Hana is also on the corner. Hana is looking to touch as the Hammond. He does get on for half a second, but it's only him. He slams down in the backline, doesn't get anything. Bakugo coming in with the Nano Blade. They're seeing what they can do. Hana falling into the pit at 1 HP. They are still alive in there. Hana ends up dropping. Bomb goes out. It takes out Mushback. They do have the Everback here with the Pharah trying to do what they can on the ground, but it isn't enough. They have the Diva. They have the Winston. You can't live as the Pharah in that circumstance. You do see Freya going after the Zenyatta. Does get him down, but is Baby Diva now. That means they're going to be picked off. Raid is picked off next, and that leaves 2 people very low. Hana is back. They might be able to get something here. They drop the shield, but they are getting burst very, very hard. There's too much damage coming out, and they end up having to get off, and they don't get back on in time.
Yeah, nice plays coming out from KT here. That 3-3 composition swap up was fantastic. The Aura heals doing a ton of work. The Genji wasn't able to get any value coming out from Ever here. Bakugo had swapped to the Tracer, but to be honest, the Genji and the Tracer, they just don't do much against the 3-3 compositions unless you can nano boost. And Legola had kind of thrown that nano boost away at the start of that first engagement when they'd capped the point. And it really costed them.
For sure, and we are definitely going to be seeing some interesting stuff here. This is the map that the Widow was saved for. This is the map to watch. Daughter is here. Dave is here with the snipers. They want to show that they can click on heads. They can take people out from a distance. You do see from the side of Team Horizon, they have the Ashe and the Widow, which is very even for snipers, but a very interesting different choice. Hannah already in the back trying to get some sneaky stuff, and Daughter going down early, but they do get the res.
Mushback needs to stop jumping as this Mercy, because it's killing me. But picks off coming from either side. Wow, Daughter. 1-2.
This is definitely the map that they played for. KT going massive with Daughter, getting 2 shots off at the very least, and then everyone else being able to clean up on the rest of the damage. You do see Hana trying to do what they can to keep them from capping quite yet, going after the Widowmaker finally, but it's already chunked down low, grabs a Mega to try and do what they can, but it's not going to be enough. The rest of KT is on the point. They've capped it, and at this point, all of Team Horizon is coming back. Hana is low, but they do have their healers back. That means they haven't all gone down yet. They haven't been able to deal with this Hammond properly, and, well, KT does on this point. There is a lot of Horizon on here. Shrug going after Bakugo to try and take them out, but Freya come back to peel. D-Mex the Diva, and then that means that Team Horizon was able to take the point off of that. They do have a lot of people still here from KT, but they are dwindling very quickly as the rest of Team Horizon are coming back. Hana getting interestingly stuck in the wall, and it looks like, okay, he managed to get out. It looks like for some reason he managed to get lodged right in that little corner piece.
By the way,
didn't know where to put him, but he's back on roll now.
Yeah, small indie company, by the way. Bug was a little weird, but good plays, good plays coming from Hana. He's able to take out Mushmack on the Mercy here. A lot of used here. Here's the bomb.
The Nano, Valk from both sides. The Nano comes out on the Winston as he jumps in to try and take someone out, and he did take out Bakugo on the way in. Hana dropping the mines on the point to keep it clear. Bob is also on the point to try and contest it. Team Horizon not giving this up easily. Lucker's still jumping around, but he is about to run out of his primal. There he goes. He's out. Shrug on the ground. He is demech, and this leaves Lucker at half. They are already on the small ones. Freya going after the Baby Diva and Appleman on the Ana to try and make sure that they don't have heals. Mercy also following after him, and they are trying to get him. He does get demeched by the healer combo, and he isn't able to do anything. Shrug is back in mech as well now after all of that. Raid getting Appleman right on the way out, and Hana taking out Daughter with the Flame of Ever as an assist here, and that means that they're going to have a tough time. KT managed to get a lot of good ults off, but they did not cap that point.
Yeah, really good plays coming out from Hana. I keep stressing this enough. The Wrecking Ball is doing a ton of work. I think Lucker realized that, and he's going to swap off of the Winston onto the Wrecking Ball. It just does so much against the Mercy. And the whole thing now is that Mushmack has given up the Mercy. They've gone Hanzo Tracer with the Lucio to try and benefit from that. And
they
Raid with the boot kill. Nice.
They did throw out the Dragon to try and cut off the choke, as well as the bomb in the backside, but it doesn't catch anyone. Instead, it's regular kills, but they're coming out for the other side. Team Horizon getting picks. They get the bump on Mushmack, and they have the slam down coming up from KT to try and catch someone, but it's not anyone. Hana is still alive. They have still never dealt with this Hammond. I don't even know if he's died this entire round. He has been going massive. Hana doing anything and everything for his team right now. No one able to survive on the side of KT as they come in one after another, but it's only them one at a time. They do Nano Dave to try and keep him alive, but it's a little too late.
Yeah, and we've seen some really good Wrecking Ball play from Hana, but this next map is going to be Lighthouse, and to be honest, I think that's mostly just going to be the 3-3 composition. So, you know, we see both of these teams really getting warmed up. Playing some dive, playing some really cool, you know, Widow, some Pharah, Genji, Tracer, and now we're back to 3-3. And I want to see how these teams are going to respond to like the sudden shift in compositions. And is Hana going to stay on this Wrecking Ball, because it's a bit risky, especially going up against the Brig and the Zenyatta from the other side for KT. Looks like he'll stay on it. This is, like I said, very risky. They're going to have to leverage these, really the Hammond mobility. He's going to go for a flank. Nice pile drive onto Daughter, but he gets armor packed.
They're definitely trying to use it for the distraction here. Boop comes out onto Ever. It was a charge from Lucker. That is an intense boop, and that's going to make a lot of problems for Team Horizon, but they don't care. The Hammond comes down, slams 2 people up. That's easy picks, easy picking for Team Horizon. They're pushing back in. They are taking out the Zenyatta. Daughter falling very low. He does go down. Mushmack next. They are getting low already, but they are pushed out of the point as well. Slam comes down, but it doesn't catch any from Hana, and there's only 2 people left on the point for KT. The rest of Horizon taking out Shrog out of mech, and they still haven't given up the point quite yet, so they are coming back, and they are cleaning people up. Dave the Great still a super high charge on the Zarya, still alive, as well as Mushmack in there at high health. The rest of KT has come back as well, which means that Team Horizon is going to have a bit of a problem. They took too long, but they are picking people off anyway. Lucker goes down, Appleman very low to follow, and they do have Mushmack in the back going to try and contest. He's already happened. He's going to go down here, stunned and destroyed. And that was well played by Horizon here. They took their time and made sure to use their abilities as they needed.
Yeah, Legola is fragging out on this Lucio. Great to see. That kill from Lucker to start off the fight was really nice. We don't get to see a lot of like charged environmental kills, but nice pile drive coming in. They're going to start the fight already.
They definitely love to push in like this. They are putting, they use the pile drive to put them on their back foot, and then the rest of them just pop in. If you have to focus the Hammond, you can't focus the rest, and vice versa. And so they all end up getting out very well. This Hammond,
Wow.
as you said, it was going to be problematic against the Brig, but it doesn't matter if the Brig can never stun because she has to use it to get away.
Yeah, and that's seriously been a problem. KT really need to leverage the fact that they have a Brig, they have the Discord Orb for Hana on this Wrecking Ball. Nice 6-man pile driver. Gonna force the trans here, and the bomb comes out.
Freya dropping the bomb in the back. Licker is going to get grabbed, but he is going to be able to block it. Beat does come out from the side of KT to try and keep everyone up. The trans is responded to from the side of Horizon, trying to keep everyone up as well. Hana still has his mines available, but everyone is low, and it looks like Team Horizon is just going to give this one up. Freya does drop down, and they are going to get DMEC and thrown off the cliff. I would have preferred if they had just flown off themselves rather than dropping down there, but it may have been a bit of a misclick.
And I think this is the point in the match where you go, should we have swapped onto the Reinhardt from the Wrecking Ball from Hana? Because we didn't see the minefield come out, and that was really, they needed to bait out the trans earlier by using the minefield. You know, he's going to be going in, he's going to use the minefield here on this point. Is he going to get any value? Looks like it'll get Dave pretty low here. He gets taken out, nice.
The beat was dropped preemptively, and then they got grabbed afterwards. This means that it doesn't matter. KT is able to clean up what they want here, as they didn't have any health or any support ults remaining. And now Hana does not have ult. They are still coming out as the Hammond, though they are destined for this, it seems. They want to run the ball. They want to roll over people.
Yeah, this is where you swap off the Wrecking Ball. The Wrecking Ball isn't going to get a ton of value because you're the one attacking. You need to tank your lineup to try and cover this point. KT have the positional advantage by being near the point. They have the cover from the point itself, you know, and Hana isn't going to get a ton of value rolling into the lighthouse here, unless he gets a boop. No, he doesn't get anything.
He's been rolling inconsistently and having to roll out as well, but he doesn't get anything anytime here, and they do get the Shatter out. It doesn't catch anyone yet, but Bakugo actually does end up falling after a little bit, and that means that there's no Brig from the side of Team Horizon. Freya is also DMEC, ever going down. Freya is going to try and reset here, but it is already 90%. They do need someone to come back, and it looks like that's probably going to have to be Hana here, but Hana is just realizing it and coming back. There's only 5% left. He's going to come in very quickly, but if they have the Brig, they can stun it. Boop does come out, keeps him off. Is he going to be able to touch? He doesn't touch in time, not even overtime, and KT is going to take the map as a whole.
Yep, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Team Horizon are completely being stubborn with their picks. I knew that the Wrecking Ball wasn't going to get any value, and I trying to call it, you know, Hana, you're great on Wrecking Ball, I'm not going to lie, but maybe that pick just wasn't it. You know, and you're going into that fight, you're trying to go for the attack, but your team has no innate tankiness because you're not on the Reinhardt. Your team doesn't have any shielding. They're taking poke damage from the Lucio and the Zen, and you're getting no value, and KT is just rolling you. You got to change it up, you know?
I must say, though, after the one map that KT's, they banned, like they saved the Widow specifically, that was KT's plan. They made sure that they had that Widow in the bank available to do what they needed to. And the one map, the Ruins map for Ilios, was the one map that they lost out of that, which is a very interesting turnout regardless, but they ended up taking off the other two maps, so it doesn't matter in the end. They are ahead 2-1 in this series. If they take one more, KT will take the series. It is a best of 5, so the first person to 3 is the winner. Meanwhile, Team Horizon, they need to win 2 back-to-back in order to take this back, and by the way that they've been playing, it's been getting sloppier and sloppier, and a little bit almost, like you said, a little bit more BM at the start of Ilios there when they popped the nano at the end of a fight. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, but we'll be having to see that going forward.
Mm-hmm. I believe the next map picks are going to be Hanamura or Eichenwald, I believe, wasn't banned. I think Hollywood was, so no escort maps on the table here. It's just Hanamura or Eichenwald on the pool. We'll be seeing what Team Horizon picks with this, and we'll be seeing the map ban, the hero bans and picks coming up, because they're going to be a big deal coming to this next engagement, especially if Eichenwald is to be played. I think you really want to remove the Reinhardt or the Lucio off the side of Team Horizon. You want to be able to take out KT's their tank line, and their 3-3 seems to be very dominant. They're playing really well around the Reinhardt, whereas I feel like Team Horizon, they are a bit stubborn when it comes to their picks. They will be picking Hanamura. It will be the first assault map of the series here, and yeah, maybe we'll be seeing more weird defenses.
I just want to point out a couple things about this ban phase that have piqued my interest. So KT, they banned Horizon Lunar Colony against Team Horizon, and then Team Horizon picked Hanamura. Well, they have the main tank Hana on the team. Just found that a little bit interesting, and they're swapping in Kidney again now. And now it's up to KT to save one hero since they were the victors of last round. So we'll see who they save for this Hanamura.
Yeah, I think that they definitely have Hana as this main tank specialist that plays Wrecking Ball and is better suited to these dive tanks. So maybe we're thinking that Horizon is going to be their Reinhardt map, and there isn't going to be dive. To be honest, as KT, I'm actually smiling looking at that, because you can easily defend if the enemy team has a Reinhardt and not the Winston, especially if you're playing a specific type of comp with like the Mei and double snipers. Maybe you go for a triple DPS kind of defense to all in the snipes and take out the supports from KT here. So interesting to see. I wonder what we'll be seeing, especially coming out from the main tanks. Looks like Orisa will be banned off the side of KT.
More importantly, though, I believe that's just specifically in response. They had the Protect Bastion from KT's side. They wanted to make sure that they had Bastion available for this defense. And so in response, Horizon very promptly banned Orisa. They didn't want to allow any sort of bunker comp to be set up on that first point, because that can be ham in a handbasket to try and take on, especially in overtime, which is kind of where it's a little bit more pressing. Without the Orisa, it's going to be a little bit harder, and so that Bastion save might have been completely null and void at this point.
Yeah, it certainly seems like Team Horizon are going to go for something like something Bastion-centric. Maybe it's just to psych them out. But the whole thing about attacking is that you can freely swap your comp up depending on the attack. You could scout with a nice Sombra pick and look at the defending team's comp and go, oh, okay, let's play a comp that counters this. And there's a counter comp for pretty much every comp, especially on Hanamura, where there's a lot of places to really go around. Even Goats is counterable on this map, especially on the attack.
We do also have a couple swaps coming out here. Hana is actually getting pulled out. He is not going to be played on Hanamura, unfortunately. Kidney is going to be going back in. We also have a swap from the side of KT. We are taking Trog out, and Wu Hoopy is the one who's coming into play instead. So we're going to be seeing a little bit of a difference in play style there. But overall, I imagine most of these rosters are still going to play pretty similarly.
Yep, and just a heads up for all of the spectators here, Horizon will be on the red side and KT will be on the blue side. So a bit of color swaps coming out from these teams here. Just want to make sure that that's clear for everyone. It looks like, yeah, we will be seeing Wu Hoopy. Let me take a look at what he plays.
Whatever he plays, I'm sure he enjoys, because after every game, as the rumor says, he goes woohoo.
His profile is private, of course it is.
Looks like he's not actually available, so they are going to put Shrog back in. So the only swap out has been Hana for Kidney on the side of Team Horizon now. So we are going to be getting into this very shortly as the team's ready up and we get into Hanamura.
Yep, it's a bit of an interesting map. The assault map that is very different depending on the metas. We see some bunker comps. We see a lot of Mei coming out from the defense, especially here. And yeah, we'll be seeing what both teams can really pull from this map and from the structure of the way that it's played. Be seeing a reset map real quick.
Looks like there was a bit of an error in the lobby. There was unfortunately the bans were not swapped over this time, so we are
It happens.
correcting that really quickly, and then we'll be getting right back into it. But going into this, there's a few different ways that I've seen many different teams attack first point Hanamura. After you get through that choke, there's so many decisions that you need to make, and a lot of gut reactions to go sand pit and but people even do that when they don't have picks. At this point, I expect a little bit more from both of these teams going into this, but from their playstyle so far, it's going to be very interesting to see which one chooses to go where.
Yep. I really want to see the Mei coming out from the defense. It tends to slow these fights down. Normally, fights will last either 30 seconds to like a minute long, and the Mei composition can win you almost like a full fight, especially at the start when people least expect it. But even afterwards, you don't get that initial pick off because you're trying to wall the opponent off from the door area for attack. You could slow down these fights with your primary fire. You can really try and snipe out the supports. Mei is a very versatile hero, and that's exactly what we'll be seeing from the defending team from KT here. Looks like Daughter won't be playing any mind games. They will be playing the Bastion that they saved on this composition. It doesn't have a ton of shielding. It has the Reinhardt, but like, how effective is this Reinhardt really going to be if he's going to have to stand in front of the Bastion? You really would rather have seen an Orisa, but the whole thing was that Orisa was banned. So interesting to see some different bans and picks coming out from either side.
It looks like we are going to see some interesting strats here from Team Horizon.
Ooh, what is this?
Hopping over. Oh, Daughter doesn't make it. They are going to have to drop down. No. And they are not set up there. And Team Horizon has realized this. They are pushing in. Immediately, they take on Lucker, and he is already half health, but they do get healed up. Wall comes up. Daughter is already falling low, and Daughter does go down. This is no Bastion available, but they are taking out people on Horizon's side. Freya is down, as well as the mech. That could go down as well. Kidney does get frozen, but it's not enough. The Mei, Shrog on the Mei, trying to do what they can. Are an ice block. Wishmack also trying to do what they can to stall out the point here. Meanwhile, Raid is just poking at the front, doing what they can. They do spook off the Zarya enough that they aren't able to get anything here. And that was a very messy fight from the side of KT. They protected this Bastion like they had a specific strat, but they did not end up playing it at all.
No, they didn't play that well at all. That was really bad coming out from KT. Daughter's going to swap to the Tracer, dies, and to be honest, if I'm Team Horizon, I can snowball off of this. You have the Transcendence coming out. There are no ultimates in sight for KT. You could definitely snowball off of this and the Earth Shatter here, really. Go in with everything you have, use whatever you can. You can definitely outpoke. And no, it looks like they're going to be taken down from the corner here. Wow.
It looks like Horizon went up to the choke and they just let them free fire. Even though Daughter, they had swapped to the Tracer and they had to go back. They were down a hero the entire time for that fight. But Horizon, they just played that fight a little bit poorly. I guess it's a one-for-one trade at this point, but messy all around. And you see the ult charges now coming out online for the side of KT in regards to how much they actually have. Daughter already at the 44% when they have just swapped onto the Hanzo.
Yeah, however, as Team Horizon, you're looking at this and you're going, this is fine. You have almost 6 ults coming up, and the whole thing about Daughter on the Hanzo is that he's really not going to get a lot of value out of this Dragon Strike. The Transcendence is going to be able to heal it out completely. You want to be able to bait it out with the grab. Here's the grab bomb combo.
Huge grabs come out from both sides. Beat comes up from the side of KT to try and keep everyone up. The bomb was also blocked by both sides. No one has gone down yet. Kidney is stunned and half, but he is going to drop down and not get hurt. Lucker does fall down, and the rest of Team Horizon are looking to push down the stairs. Beat finally comes out from Horizon side, and they're going to run down Daughter. Daughter, the only one left there. Shrog is in the backside trying to do what they can. They are half. They're going to drop their bomb finally here, and Ever is going to soak that up as a nice ult charge for them, and they are just going to keep cutting through this. Ever at super high charge acts as an extra DPS. Lucker is out on the Hammond trying to do what they can, and Appleman is also coming out with Dave on the Doomfist. They're truly going to complete stall. Appleman about to fall. Freya got another bomb throughout that fight and managed to get it off here. Doesn't catch anyone, unfortunately, but they do get Dave in the meantime. Raid falls down, and the grab comes out to try and catch a few people. They end up getting Appleman out of it, and Lucker is almost about to fall, but he ends up starting to swing around, and it doesn't catch anyone. Mei in the corner trying to stall this out as long as they can. Shrug doing what they can. The wall about to drop. They do manage to go ice block before getting charged, and Dave is back here on the Doomfist. They managed to pick Lucker as well on the way out as Mushmack on the Moira, and they end up just stalling this out infinitely here. Daughter finally coming out and getting picked as well. Mushmack back on the Moira here, but they do use Fate, and they are down immediately after. Winston coming out on the Lucker, but he's not going to be able to get out in time. I would have liked to see the Hammond stay there, but unfortunately, they aren't going to be able to hold this point.
Yeah, and what a solid attack coming from KT here. They were really able to utilize
Horizon.
that. Yeah, from Team Horizon, they were able to utilize the fact that they had the 3-3 composition. The Hanzo did get any value. Poor Kidney ended up going down, wasn't shielded by the beat that was dropped. So he went down early on in the fight, but so the stall was took a little while, but to be honest, 4 minutes on the clock, 4.5 minutes, you're pretty good. You're feeling pretty happy if you're Team Horizon here.
Well, it doesn't hurt the fact that they got that first point for essentially free when they ended up accidentally dropping their KT, letting the Bastion fall down to the ground, and they were not set up in time. If they wanted to set up in the window, they could have done that, but they wanted to try and get that high ground, and in order to get that high ground above the door, you need to first go to the window and then wall up again, but they ended up trying to do it all in one, and you see the consequences when you try and cut corners. It does not go well.
Yeah, it was really greedy of the Bastion to try and go for that positioning, and then that didn't work, and he's trying to set up, and the 3-3 composition is just running at your point, and you're not able to do anything. You're trying to sit there and tank for him, and you're going down. There's a 3-3 composition there right on top of you. There's no way that you're going to kill anyone.
And it definitely doesn't help when you're trying to run it with a Reinhardt instead, so the Orisa can't at least pull people back, slow them down at all, or shoot from afar and play with you while everyone else contests the point. You just end up messing up the entire thing. We do see that KT is going to come out right away. They are immediately coming to the door. They do not care. They are going to aggress. Kidney already going down, as well as Bakugo. That's huge. Wall does come out. It catches 3 on that side, but Ever is going to get charged. There's no freeze available. 3 left on the side of Team Horizon. They are showing that we don't need the Bastion. We can take the point just as fast. It doesn't matter if we screwed up. Finally, Team Horizon going to be pushed back to the second point very, very quickly here. 3 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock before the cap. This is going to give them a very similar time bank.
Yep, and look at their ults. Lucker has the Earth Shatter ready. To be honest, they really didn't apply too much in the name of ults. Lucker did pretty much all the work there, and the fight was pretty much really one-sided, but it ended so quickly that neither team really has too much ults. A nice wall coming in from Ever, though.
KT is going to roll in here, but they aren't going to be able to do anything much. They get walled off, and they lose 2 people at the start. Daughter and Lucker falling down. That means that this fight is pretty well lost, especially with spawn advantage. Dave in the backside already getting low. He's about to be frozen, and there he goes. Baby Diva running out to the cliff, wanting to reset as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Mushmack trying to get a little bit of ult charge by shooting out the main gate, but nothing that they're going to get out of this.
Yep, I was plugging in my controller that I found on the ground here. I didn't realize it was unplugged in the first place. But yeah, solid defense coming from the Mei Ever on the Mei. I'm actually surprised that we saw the swap, even though that Ever had the Blizzard. Seems like they're going for a Sombra, something to disrupt the 3-3 composition. On the attack.
We do see the rally and the speed boost coming out from KT. They're trying to run into this, but they do have the grab come down in response. Shatter goes out, but it doesn't catch anyone. Lucker doesn't have anything available, and he goes down. Kidney in the bottom side, he has a Shatter available for whoever drops, and the rest of Team Horizon is still up there doing what they can. A few of them falling low, but it doesn't matter because there's enough healers up there. Dave getting pretty low, as well as Shrog in there getting low on the Diva. Zenyatta in there trying to keep them up. Mushmack also on the high ground. They still haven't started taking the point at all, even though most of KT is forced off right now, and they're finally rotating back to the point, leaving the rest of them out there. Oh, sorry, I was looking at it backwards. My apologies.
It's all right. It happens. I get shooken up all the time. Lucker actually swapped onto the Wrecking Ball and swapped back, so it's gonna be stuck at 0%. Here's the graph coming out, but it gets transcended. bomb.
Huge grab from KT, doesn't catch anyone here, but they are going to run in and just get murdered by the rest of Horizon. Anyway, Horizon on this defense has been relentless. They keep running in time after time. The hacks from Ever have been perfect, making sure that no one can do anything, and they're going to stagger this D.Va as much as possible. Hacked right now so they know what's going on, and they're just going to keep booping them back, making sure they cannot get to the cliff, and then they finally kill them. Now this is going to be a huge stagger, as now we have to wait for Shrog to respawn before we can go again.
Yeah, and they really need to go again. There isn't a lot of ults off of the side of, well, to be honest, much team. However, we do have the rally coming out for KT. Appleman is going to have that. They're going to have the Earth Shatter. Maybe they can use that to try and stop things there on the high point. Just the beat coming out for defensive ults. Here's the rally.
Looks like KT wanted to bait the high ground, and then they immediately drop towards main here, and they do have Shrug getting DMAC right away. Kidney falling low. They do drop that. Beat was a little bit late, unfortunately. Beat from both sides. Make sure they keep up. Lucker getting huge shatter onto Freya. Make sure that they can take that out. EMP does come out, but it doesn't catch many. The trans is already out from the side of KT. They aren't going to be able to get taken down right away. Raid is out with his own trans, but he is out of it now, and they can go at it. KT trying to pressure onto the side here where the Mega is getting trying to get back and go, but it ends up going out poorly for them. Lucker and Appleman going down. Dave the Great also going down here. Shrug getting demeched. This is going to be the end of the fight. They managed to get a lot of picks, but it wasn't enough. They have a tick and a little bit, and they have now gone below the time that Horizon had.
Yep. And ooh. Oh.
You want to ride the train? Kidney says climb aboard. I got you.
Yeah, he's got the pain train, and I wanted to talk about Kidney because he's been doing very well ever since he was swapped back into this last map. They're doing very well in place on the Reinhardt here. He seems to be very aggressive, but the thing about him is that his aggression is very warranted because his team is really backing him up. And that's really what you want to see coming out from Team Horizon. You want to see this supplement. You want to see him supplement his damage. Lucky going to take down Legola, though.
Huge grab came out from the side of KT, and a huge shatter as well right afterwards. They are going to get massive picks here. The Anti comes out on the Sombra. She has to translocate out. Bakugo trying to do what he can. He is in rally mode, so he does have a lot of healing, but Donner and Appleman are both there, and he is not there to stop. There's a very small amount left. Ever on the point on his own. He's going to drop the EMP to try and stay up. He does get it off, but he goes down for it. Kidney back with the shatter, catches Shrog, but that's it, and they are on the back, hidden away. Grab does come out from the side of Team Horizon to keep people up, but they do have the trans to keep them up. Raid going out with the trans as well to try and keep the rest of Team Horizon up for the rest of this push here. You do see Dave the Great coming back on the Hammond, getting a nice slam onto Raid, making sure that they take them out. Beat is out from the side of Horizon, and they're just trying to hold on to this as best as they can. Shrug throwing the bomb, trying to seal the deal. He does catch Bakugo. Kidney coming in very low already, but so is Lucker. He ends up getting booped away, and Legola is trying to get that one little Reinhardt as best as he can, but he does not have enough speed here. Always getting him to one. Legola finally going down. Ever is also down. Freya coming out on the Mei, trying to do what they can. Freeze block is down. Also a fade from the Moira. They do have Doomfist slept in the back. That means they're not going to do anything. Lucker gets nano to keep him alive, but he is put into the trench, which means he's going to come back up. Kidney is already half on the point, trying to roll around, but it doesn't matter. The shatter comes out. It catches Ever. It catches the ball, and Legola is on his own, and it doesn't matter. They end up taking the point here.
2 minutes off on the side of KT here. A solid attack, kind of misplaced in terms of the focus, but as I was watching it, Kidney is just doing a ton of work. He really just chucked it out. He clenched his butt so hard during that last fight, shielding the Lucio and the Doomfist. He was standing on 1 HP coming into one of those attacks, and that clutch nano boost came through. He was able to get a really nice Earth Shatter, and that sealed off that attack. Very close defense coming out from both teams. And yeah, Team Horizon with the way bigger map pool, time pool, is going to be defending first here. They're going to be running the Sombra into this, and I really like the Sombra, especially with only 2 minutes on the clock. You want to be able to try and farm that and play kind of passively, because you don't have the D.Va to shrug off any of this damage. You need to back up and make way for the other team and kind of coax them into where you want to, and then you want to hack them out and then aggress on them. It's this bit of cat and mouse that we're going to be seeing coming out from Team Horizon here on this defense, and they're going to want to try and stack up the EMP as fast as possible here. I'm surprised that Ever isn't taking a more aggressive position. Here's the hack onto Shrog.
We do see them already at the gate trying to get what they can. Shrog gets hacked, but he doesn't matter as he goes in. Sleep is on the Ever, so that means he does not get anything else off. Shrog is in there like a dirty shirt. He gets Lucker along with Lego, giving him a hand, but he does get demacked. It doesn't matter. He's still a body on the point, but Raid says it doesn't matter if you're a diva. I'll take you out, and they take out Mushmak on the way as well. They did lose their Reinhardt at the start, but the rest of the fight from the side of KT is falling apart, and at this point, it's getting dangerously close. You need one more game as KT to win this out. If you could win this one, this would be fantastic, but at this point, Team Horizon's clawing their way back in.
Yep, and Ever's getting a ton of ult charge too. Wow, really getting melee range of Lucker. That was really aggressive play. He's going to be able to get another 20% off of the ult charge here, up to 80%. Very close to his EMT. They need to try and kite out this fight. Nice hack onto Mushmak. They get him low, they take him down.
Kenny gets chunked out, but it doesn't matter. He has the burst healing. He's a little bit low here as well as his shield. But right now they have the man advantage, and is Horizon going to push out with this? They are speeding out. They want to get these stagger kills. They know that they have the advantage. Lucker already half Bakugo falling low, and he is anti, so they are going to back off. But the grab comes out in response. Ray getting the trans off before the EMP comes out, and it doesn't matter that you EMP if everyone is trans. Lucker also getting shattered with the nano. He doesn't matter. You are going down as well, and that is a huge loss from the side of KT. They used a lot of ults to try and keep everyone at bay, but it doesn't matter when you don't get the Zen in time. Raid having fantastic reaction time there to keep the rest of his team alive.
Yeah, however, you know, we have the Shatter Bomb combo coming out. We have Daughter on the trance that can really transcend. This is the last fight. There's the grab. It's only going to get Appleman, but it's going to take him out. That's good.
They do have the beat come out to try and keep people up, but Kidney is going to go down. The bomb does not catch anything from the side of KT, and the rest of Team Horizon is finally collapsing back on the point. They do have Daughter popping the trans, trying to keep everyone up as much as possible on the point, but it's only 3 of them, and the trans is over now. Crab comes out to try and hold the Ever, Freya, Raid, and it actually catches Legola as well, but the trans is out again. This means that they are not going to catch anything. Lucker on the Hammond trying to do what he can, but he's already half, and they're going to push him off the point. Mushmak doing what he can to stall this point out. He drops the beat just for himself, just to try and stall some time, but he is going to get picked off, not able to touch the point again, and that's a first point hold from the side of Team Horizon.
Yeah, that's a solid hold too, and you have 4 minutes on the time bank for them to get 1 tick. I mean, what is it really going to take for KT to try and stall this out?
I just hope that KT doesn't try to run the Bastion again here, or if they do, they ladder up properly, go to the high ground where the window is on first point, and then go onto the wall after that. Don't try to cut the corners, or at least just run something else. Because we honestly don't have a gauge of what KT's actual defense strategy is on this point, since it all just kind of fell apart right away. So I'm eager to see what's actually going to go on, but they have 3 people just left, 4 people just left. It looks like they might be forfeiting here, possibly from the side of KT. They ran out of time, and so they are going to possibly have to pull out.
All right, well.
Yes, they're saying they don't have enough players now. Some of them had to go, and so they're unable to play, and they're going to have to forfeit here by the looks of it. It was a very strong showing from both sides. Unfortunately, KT was in the lead at that point, but at 4 minutes and 30 seconds would have been very difficult to hold Team Horizon back. So it's unfortunate, but Team Horizon is going to take the likelihood victory on Hanamura and likelihood to, and they are going to move on to the next set here, since they do have a forfeit coming up for KT, who is going to be relegated down to the losers bracket, unfortunately.
Yep. So that's going to be it. We're going to be having a winner's interview really quickly with one of Team Horizon's members. I'm sure they're as confused as we were, but I think we were a little aware of KT's time bank from the beginning. They've mentioned that they have to go quickly. However, you know, this is one of those cases where, you know, when you're playing in one of these tournaments, you have to designate time for these best of 5s, because they can go the distance, and as someone that's trying to get better, you want them to go the distance. You want them to go to 5 games. You want to get as much practice as possible. I mean, ideally you want to stomp and 3-0 everything, but to practice, you want to make it close. You want the opponent to be like a really good opponent, especially if you're learning, right? If you're just playing to do well, that'll be it. So looks like that'll be the end of the broadcast. I think Team Horizon are as little as confused as we are. So that's going to be it for this cast. There will be another one coming up right after this. Let me see if I can get that up here shortly. One moment. Next match is going to be Spirit versus Freelo. And yeah, both of those teams had 3-0'd in the first round as well. So yeah,
I think the only team that
didn't
didn't 3-0 was Goatsbusters and Dragoness, I believe. Everything else was a 3-0.
From the first round, yeah.
Yeah, from the first round as a whole.
Wow.
Regardless, though, we will be seeing, like you said, Team Horizon going on here, and Team Horizon will be facing also the winner of the next match. So stay tuned for the next match as well, so that way you can see those two go at it and see what maybe Team Horizon is going to have to face off against next.
Yep. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. Apologies for the abrupt ending, but not too bad on the series so far. If you're looking at the series as a whole, not too bad.
Oh, it looks like we do actually have an interview coming in here.
I'm being debated by the producer, Smile.
So it looks we have several people who are interested.
That's a rage emoji. That's a rage emoji at my producer. Looks like we'll be seeing Freya and Cam from Team Horizon. How are we doing, guys? That was a bit sudden, huh?
Yeah, we're doing well. Yeah, it really was surprising. I was
like question mark in all chat.
Yeah, I mean it was a really close game. So when that happened, we were a little surprised.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting out of this game. What are you doing?
He's just like, why does it keep on pausing? I'm backing out of that.
All right, I hope he didn't stop the recording too. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about how close that series was. It looks like KT almost had you guys on the ropes there. You guys had that fourth map, I believe, and would have taken that to a game 5, but the third map seemed really dominant. It was really back and forth.
For sure, we were definitely feeling that. We were. It was a nail biter. There was a lot of fights that, if I go back in time, we were just small little mistakes that we were not able to output those wins. So, yeah, it was definitely a nail biter. Really close for us too.
It definitely seemed, and I was kind of harping on you guys, especially with the picks coming out on Dorado and on Ilios Lighthouse, especially the Wrecking Ball pick and then on Dorado it was the double snipers. I harped on you guys a bit. Definitely check out the VOD. But I criticized you guys a lot on being very stubborn with your picks. Is there anything that you guys go into when it comes to picks, especially when you guys are losing fights at the very start of the match? You guys have any kind of coordination when it comes to like, oh hey, maybe this isn't working, let's swap it off?
Well, yes. There is we have a lot of like pre-game preparation. And sometimes it's both good and bad. In some ways, it kind of like, it's like, oh, we've thought about this before, so it must work. So then it's kind of hard for us to adapt. But I think we definitely, in certain situations, we're able to find those comps and find those win conditions. But I definitely understand what you're saying with the whole kind of stubborn to change.
There was a point where you guys ended up losing Ilios Lighthouse, and I'm like, all right, this is where they're going to swap to the Reinhardt. And they're going to plow through it because they need the Reinhardt for the shield to prevent damage. Because the Zen and the Lucio have positioning on the point and they can spam you out. And Hana doesn't swap. And I'm like, oh god, what is going on? And then you guys just get crushed. And I'm like, oh no, this is a loss. Because they've accrued so much ult charge because you have no shield. And I'm like, oh no. That was kind of hard to watch. As a coach for a tier 3 EU team, I'm like kind of cringing at that point, but to be honest, a lot of the other maps were super clean. You guys are super clean on 3-3.
Oh, well, thank you. We definitely do a lot of practice that. Really why we played the Hammond on is our like designated Hammond player. If you saw like the game against Brainless and Nameless, we like to play Hammond there because we were able to. So we lost Dorado, so we were able to bait out the. They can't save someone, so we we banned the Sombra, so now we can play the Hammond without any contesting. But I definitely see what you're saying. It would have been more optimal to kind of play that Reinhardt.
Yeah, it was great when you guys were coming into the initial attack and you guys had gotten a bunch of percentage on the lighthouse point, but as the Reinhardt gets tankier and tankier and like more value the more the fight is going on. See, like Wrecking Ball is like you have to win the fight in an instant with the pile driver and like mines, or the Reinhardt just gets so much value because he has the shield up and your team is soaking a lot more damage. Let's trail away from that because I feel like you guys can learn a lot, especially from the VOD. Couple last questions are kind of memey. Hanzo or Genji? I feel like I know the answer to this already.
Hanzo or Genji?
Yeah.
Genji.
Freya?
What's this question?
Hanzo or Genji? Like, which one is cooler?
That's a question.
It's Genji.
Hanzo. I gotta stick with my boy Hanzo.
All right, there's gonna be some conflicts at the end of the match here. And last question: is a hot dog a sandwich?
Well, actually,
No.
it depends. I think there's a spectrum with hot dogs and sandwiches. I think that there is for sure some gray area in between.
The answer is no. There's no
All right,
gray
you guys
area.
are gonna have some really bad team issues coming after this. I wish you guys the best of luck coming into these next series, but I don't have a lot of hopes. Let's be honest here.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. You guys are great.
Wow.
Thank you guys for
Okay.
coming on to the interviews. It was hysterical. And I appreciate you guys answering even the meme questions here. Wanted to pull something fairly funny for these casts, but
All right.
thank you guys for stopping on. Good luck in your
Yep.
next series. Please ban Lucio. And we'll see you guys in the next couple of weeks. I believe I should be casting your guys' games next week.
Awesome.
Okay.
There. Thank you.
So we'll see you guys later. That'll be the end of the broadcast for now. Shortly, we'll be having the premiere of the next match. That's going to be, like I was talking about before, it's going to be Spirit versus Freelo. We were talking about both teams had 3-0'd, so pretty dominant teams coming into this next series. Be casting that one shortly, but that'll be the end of this match. Corvic, you want to see any last words? We'll end it there.
Just wanted to say thank you everyone for stopping in and taking a look at this. Unfortunately, we do not, just remember, we do not have an MVP poll right now going, so there is no votes there, so we don't have anything to be able to say on that regards. And like I said, thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next match.
Bye, guys.